Ink ribbon.
Stupid man thing!
Some gamers run from her, some gamers run to her, and all gamers are aware of her after she blew up the internet with her debut. Whichever one of these categories you fall into, I'm sure you'll find some interesting info in this video because there's a lot more information on her than I ever expected. From mommy issues to Teletubbies, here are 25 facts about Lady Dimitrescu. Alcina Dimitrescu was born sometime before 1958. Her age isn't known, but there is speculation that she must have been born before 1912 due to the mention of her family relocating after World War II. She also did not become mutated until age 44, meaning she spent most of her life as a normal human. Lady D only patrols the main area of the castle, basically the most beautifully decorated areas. She will not follow the player into the kitchen, the basement, or the safe room where the Duke is. Art director Tomonori Takano said that her design was partly inspired by Elizabeth Bathory, the real-life 16th century serial killer who killed over 600 girls and drained them of their blood. Her appearance was also heavily inspired by the Hachishaku-sama, a Japanese spirit that preys on children and is over 8 feet tall. While she does refer to the other girls as her daughters, Alcina is not actually related to them. Bella, Cassandra, and Daniela were created by Alcina and Mother Miranda, using creatures similar to blowflies to hatch from larvae laid in the Cadu fetus. They immediately obeyed her without question, almost treating her as a queen bee. Alcina is very high maintenance and developed an ego. She was secretly resentful that Mother Miranda treated her the same as the other 4 lords, and she saw herself as much higher class than them since she was more beautiful and more wealthy, which is why you see her constantly fighting with them and why she gets so angry that she throws her vanity. According to the head chambermaid, Alcina makes her own lipstick and the ingredients are very expensive. The ability to extend her nails into sharp claws was inspired by the character Lust from Full Metal Alchemist. Unlike Nemesis and Mr. X, Lady Dimitrescu is completely invulnerable and cannot be taken down by the player, not even temporarily. The most you can do is cause her to adjust her hat. While she is chasing you, she will slap away any enemies in the area, sometimes even killing them. While she is presented a certain way, she isn't actually a vampire. It's never stated what the disease is, but Alcina had a hereditary blood disease which was carried over after her mutation, causing her to need a constant supply of fresh blood to maintain her health. The side effect of this was constant mutation, causing her to keep growing until she had to completely duck down just to fit through a doorway. When fighting the sisters, you learn that they can't handle the cold, and if the player goes outside or breaks any windows, they will stop pursuit. Lady Dimitrescu, however, has no issues with the cold and will continue to follow when she spots you, even going outside into the courtyard. In the Maiden Demo, you are not playing as Ethan, but as Ingrid, one of her maids trying to escape, but she is stopped by Lady Dimitrescu and slashed to death. Male blood is a big deal in Dimitrescu Castle, since it's very rare for men to go there. If you wondered what does happen to the men that fell victim to them, they were consumed and hollowed out to become scarecrows for the vineyard. So now you can see the title screen for what it really is. When she became Lord of Dimitrescu Castle, she also inherited the family's vineyard and wine distribution company as a way to support herself. As she became more mutated and drank more blood, she began mixing blood with the grapes to create a special wine called Sanguinis Virginis, which is Latin for virgin's blood or maiden's blood. It's also a key item you pick up during the game. Once Mother Miranda acquired Rose and gave Lady Dimitrescu the head flask, they tightened security and began systematically killing everyone in the village, which is why the group of survivors you meet are so shaken up. Anyone alive was either killed outright or turned into lichens. On top of this, for added protection of Rose, Alcina and her daughters brutally murdered every one of their staff, and by morning, there were no human survivors in the castle. Over the past 70 years, Dimitrescu and her daughters began luring women from the village and systematically killing them and eating their flesh. And the surviving women that were infected with the mold were locked up in the dungeons downstairs to become the monsters you kill in the game. And in case you didn't notice, all the enemies you encounter in Castle Dimitrescu are female. In the cook's diary, you learn exactly how cruel Lady Dimitrescu really is. It details how one of the servants accidentally spilled some soup and was immediately taken to the cellar, drained of her blood, and became one of the emaciated monsters wandering around. The cook describes how when she went to find her, she found her gnawing on a rat carcass and laments that she's probably going to end up the same way. So most of the enemies you encounter downstairs are most likely Dimitrescu's staff. As part of promotion for Village, Capcom held a contest to win a life-sized towel of Lady D. Here's a normal person next to it for scale. They also put up life-sized cardboard cutouts around Japan. In her diary, you can see that Alcina truly hates all the other lords, stating that the only reason she hasn't sliced them into pieces is because Mother Miranda forbids it. She also mentions needing a drink, most likely wine. Mother Miranda originally intended for Alcina to be the next Ava, and considered her to be perfect after so many failed attempts. But once she was found to have an underlying blood disease and begin to grow rapidly, not to mention her need for constant blood, she was considered unfit by Mother Miranda. This means that if it wasn't for Alcina's hereditary blood disease, Mother Miranda would have likely never gone in search of Rose, and Ethan would have never ended up in the village. Capcom has confirmed that her shoe size is 44 centimeters or 17 inches, which isn't even an existing shoe size. The average woman has a foot length of about 8 or 9 inches, so if you want to imagine how big her feet are, look at your own and then double the length. When Ethan stabs Alcina, he does it with a blade called the Dagger of Death's Flower, a blade forged in the village during the medieval ages. Due to the superstitions, the villagers infused it with several poisons from across the west, all designed to kill monsters and demons. Alcina, also being superstitious, hid the knife away in a coffin because she believed it was a legitimate threat to her life. When Ethan stabbed her with it, the poisons should have killed her, but her body tried to fight off the toxins, which triggered an uncontrollable mutation, causing her to change form. YouTuber Ezzy used a camera hack to follow Lady D around and see what she does when she's off camera, and surprisingly, she actually does patrol the castle in real time. The popularity of Lady Dimitrescu was never expected, specifically players expressing the desire to be chased by her, and all of it caught the game developers off guard, but they were so happy that fans embraced her so much. The obsession with her spiraled out of control to the point that even companies like KFC were teasing about adding her to their Colonel Sanders dating sim. Her official height is 9 foot 6 inches, or 292 centimeters, making her by far the tallest enemy monster, not counting giants, even having her tower 6 inches over Nemesis. In case it's hard to picture exactly how tall she is, here are 5 things that are as tall as Lady D. A basketball hoop, a full-grown giant sunflower, the average height of an elephant, those dancing inflatable things, and Tinky Winky. I'm not making that up, by the way. Apparently he is 10 feet tall in the show. Oh, the things that the internet teaches us. And that is it for this list. If there's anything I missed, please leave it down in the comments, and also let me know what other video game characters you'd like to see this series on. If you learned something new, then please gently spank that like button. Don't forget to check out my other videos with facts just like these on many other characters in gaming. Until next time, I'm Kai Morgan, and as always, thanks for watching Ink Ribbon. And a very special thank you to all of my Patreon supporters and YouTube members. Your extra support means the world to me and helps me keep making content for you guys.